what it do, what it do. It's your boy Yellow the Poet. And today I am here with Miss Lucie. I'm gonna make sure I'm saying this right. Ptasznik.
You got
Yes.
it.
We're getting good at this. And she's definitely one of the ladies that's wearing more than one hat. We're going to learn a lot about all these different hats that Miss Lucie wears today. It is a pleasure to have you here on YTP Entertainment. Thank you so, so much. Greatly appreciate you coming through. And please let us know what you got going on.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Honored and grateful to be here. Um, so yeah, I grew up in just outside of Detroit, in the suburbs of Detroit, and I was obsessed with horses my entire from before I can remember. All I could think about, talk about, dream about were horses. And as Napoleon Hill states, burning desire is the start of all achievement. And I can say with absolute certainty that I was born with this desire to be around and work with horses. And
Awesome.
so, despite the countless attempts of begging my dad, Dad, please buy me a horse. My parents were blue collar workers. My mom had two factory jobs. We lived just outside of the city. So horses were definitely outside of the realm of possibilities.
Yes.
But I never gave up on my dream. I never gave up on my dream. And I decided that I actually had to take matters in my own hands. And so the day that I turned 16 was the same day that I got my driver's license and the same day that I decided to put my Craigslist ad online that said, I will ride your horse for free. And sure enough, all of these yahoos ended up calling me with their unbroke, green broke horses, horses that hadn't been handled or ridden in 5 or 10 years. And here
Wow.
I am, this like confident little cocky 16-year-old with a brand new driver's license, driving all over God's country, riding these people's horses. Next thing you know, I'm getting bucked off, thrown off, flipped over on top of. I mean, you name it, I experienced it. But I never gave up. And it's just one of those failing forward moments.
Mhm.
You live, you learn, and you learn from your mistakes.
Yes.
And life is going to throw you curveballs. There's going to be bumps along the road. There's going to be obstacles placed along your path. But if you stay laser focused on what it is that you want to accomplish,
Yes.
you will absolutely succeed. It's not, success isn't about, oh, this person got lucky. Success is about this person failed way more times. So that's why some people will compliment, wow, you're an incredible rider. And it's just like, I've just been dumped off dozens and dozens of times. So therefore, I never had any formal education or riding instruction. These wild horses are the ones who taught me everything that I know today. And so, fast forward a couple years, I ended up quitting my corporate job, following my passion, and I was blessed to be able to build and scale a seven-figure business, buying, training, and selling horses all around the country. And I accidentally opened one of Michigan's largest public trail riding companies.
Wow.
And again, I don't say that to, hey, look at me, hey, look at me.
Exactly.
Now I'm on a mission to say, if I did it, you can do it too. I
Mhm.
implemented very specific strategies and techniques that I'm obsessed with sharing people, with teaching my students how they can very deliberately create the life of their dreams. And
Yes.
so that's what I'm here to do tonight.
Yes, indeed. I totally agree with you on that. That is awesome. I love that. I was also reading a part of your profile is showing that you're a national speaker, coach, and entrepreneur. Those are some pretty nice hats to wear. I mean, entrepreneurship, I think there's a lot of us who have the entrepreneurship in us, but a national speaker, not a lot of people can say that. So, what was your first speaking gig?
Well, I would say that I would say my first speaking gig, I feel like it all started, or I, so it kind of started with my horseback riding business because when COVID hit, like everything that I've done, it's kind of unfolded very organically. Everything's grown very naturally. And again, it's not because I'm lucky, it's because I've done the work. I've invested in myself, in mentors, have a very specific morning routine. I put in the hours meditating, raising my vibration, and really understanding what emotional intelligence is. So in the building blocks of this, and constantly every single day striving to become a better person, that's what's ultimately allowed me to experience the success that I have today. So when COVID came and everybody was trapped inside of their houses, nobody could go to work, all of businesses were closed, and everybody just wanted to get outside. And it just so happens that horses are an outdoor recreational activity, and you're 6 feet away from each other when you're riding a horse. So I had started High Vibe Trail Rides, the trail riding company, on accident, like probably 4 years prior to COVID, just
Wow.
because trail riding was one of my favorite things and
Uh,
I wanted to share it with the world. So I started sharing it with friends and family. And then, sure enough, through word of mouth, it spread like fire. And then we just continued to gain momentum and continue to attract more people and grow and build. But it wasn't until COVID hit in 2020 that everyone's trapped inside their houses and the business exploded. And so that's when I really had to shift my mindset instead of being a solopreneur and start hiring. And then I built teams of people that I had to work with. And I would say in that space is where I developed more of the beginning of my speaking career, because then I got used to speaking to an audience or speaking to hosting team meetings
yes.
and really dialing in on exactly what I wanted to, the atmosphere that I wanted to create, and the feelings I wanted to inspire, and essentially the action steps that I wanted people to move forward confidently with. So that was like my first step in the door of public speaking.
Wow. That is awesome. That is awesome. I'm pretty sure you were pretty nervous starting out with that. Even though the people may have seemed like they would be good people for you to talk to and they were, welcoming and things of that nature, it can still be a bit nerve-wracking trying to speak to people that you don't really know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it can always be the first time. Anytime we do anything for the first time, it can intimidate us and scare us. But that's why I think the most important thing that we can really do is embrace the anxiousness, embrace the unknown, and step
Yes.
out fearlessly step outside of our comfort zones, because our comfort zones are what hold us hostage in the land of mediocrity. Our belief systems are really what prevent us from growing and stepping into our full potential, because we don't believe that we're good enough or that we're worthy or that we're capable, or we start to doubt our worthiness. Like your mind starts playing tricks on you. The internal dialogue kicks in. That little voice is constantly tearing us down, telling us, like, who are we to think that we're able to? Look at how many times we failed in the past. Why even try again? And so, what
Exactly.
I do is I teach people awareness, the power of awareness, and how to become aware of that voice in your head, or the thoughts that you're thinking, the emotions that you're feeling, and essentially the actions that you're taking, because life is designed by your decisions. Decisions shape your destiny.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I tell my children all the time, look, be careful of the decisions that you make, because those types of decisions can last you a lifetime in a good way, or they can last you a lifetime in a bad way. Depends on you. So make sure that you're thinking things through and not just thinking for the moment. For the moment, maybe okay sometimes, but that is not something that you want to do all the time. It's just
So true.
I love that you teach people to build awareness, because the awareness is a key thing in everybody's life, whether people know about it or not. And some people may have an idea of how important awareness is, but they may not understand how to go about even just getting involved with themselves and their own personal awareness. So what are some of your techniques that you use to help them get there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, just like you said, awareness is the key to all change because all change must be preceded by awareness. We can't change what we're unaware of. And if we take a step back and really begin to look at our lives and analyze the the patterns that these unconscious patterns that are running our lives, our patterns of focus, our patterns of physiology, our patterns of language, we really start to learn that we're creatures of habit and we're doing the same thing day in and day out. We have the same morning routine, the same afternoon routine, the same evening routine. We're moving our bodies the same way day in, day out. And we're really doing ourselves a huge disservice by falling into these unconscious patterns. So
Yeah,
once we shine the light of awareness on these patterns, they no longer have control of our lives, of our thinking, of our thoughts, of our emotions. And so that's when we can really do a pattern interrupt and decide to take a different action, to think a different thought, to make a different decision, to move in a different direction. And it's once we have that awareness that we're able to make real change in our life. So
mhm.
to go ahead and answer your question, one of what I do is I like to give people a toolbox of different techniques and strategies that they can start implementing in their life immediately. And one of the things that I'm a huge advocate of is meditation, especially in the practice of awareness. Because you see, the definition of meditation means to become aware of oneself. And
Yes,
so, therefore, I love that you love meditation.
yes. I
So
meditate
many
every day.
Oh, I love so many people have this idea or the thought in their head that like, oh, meditation's not for me. I'm not a bald monk in the mountains. I have a life to live. I've got problems to deal with. I ain't
Yeah,
got time for meditation. I'm just like, you think you don't have time for meditation? You don't not have time for meditation. Because
exactly.
what I like to explain is that like, and a lot of people will ask me, okay, so how do I like I don't know how to do it. I'm not good at it. I tried, I failed. I can't quiet my mind. These thoughts keep coming in and out. I don't get it. And then that's when I tell them that practice, like our minds are constantly running nonstop. It's not about like the idea, yes, is to quiet your mind, but more importantly, the idea is to recognize when a thought flows in and then lovingly release it. And then
Yeah,
guess what? 10 seconds later, another thought is going to flow into your mind, but it's in the recognition of the thought that you're able to lovingly release it and then return back to your breath. And then guess
exactly.
what? 10 more seconds are going to pass, another thought's going to come in. But instead of allowing yourself to fall down that rabbit hole of, oh, I got to call the doctor and make that appointment. Oh, I forgot to swap out the laundry. Oh my God, I need to send that email. Instead of falling down that whole rabbit hole, and even if you do, it's okay. It's the matter of being able to recognize, oh, wait, this is a thought that I'm thinking. I don't want to think thoughts right now. I just want to exist in the now present moment and then
Exactly.
releasing that because the reason why this is so powerful is because you begin to realize that you are not your thoughts and that
Mhm.
every thought that you think is not necessarily true. So you step back and you become the observer of your thoughts. And the reason why this is so powerful is because once you become the observer of your thoughts, that's when you take back control of your life. Because then you realize, wait, I just thought a thought and that thought doesn't serve me. I don't even like that thought. I don't like the way that thought makes me feel. I don't feel good right now. Emotions are essentially your guide. And so
Yeah,
when you don't feel good, you can ask yourself, what thought am I thinking that's causing me to not feel good? Because thoughts create emotion. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm thinking this thought. Well, what triggered this thought? And then you can start to bring awareness to the different triggers in your life. Oh, well, it was because so and so texted me. Well, again, well, why did so and so texting you cause you to think this thought and feel this way? And then you go a step back and you're like, well, what meaning are you assigning to it? Because the meaning that we assign to different events in our life is going to very, very vividly shape the direction in which we're going to go. If we choose to assign a victim mentality to that life happens to me, poor me,
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up for failure, as opposed to if you can assign a powerful, empowering meaning that this happened and I'm bold, I am brilliant, I am unstoppable, and I will overcome this,
Yes.
then you are exactly those things.
Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness. I love the way you said that. And it's so true. There's a lot of people who I talk to just doing relationship coaching. And oh my goodness, you'd be surprised at how many people I try to get them to understand that whatever you think is not always what is going to happen. You sometimes make assumptions. You place that assumption barrier in your life, thinking that those things that you assume are what's going to happen when you didn't allow reality the opportunity to present itself. And if you don't allow reality the opportunity to present itself, then you're going to continue to keep trying to think of what you think is going to happen before it happens instead of being patient, seeing what's going to happen, and then act accordingly.
Yes, your power in the now moment, your power is in the present. And when we stop trying to control every situation, or I mean, and the other thing that you bring up that's really important is our expectation.
Mhm.
So people are going to rise and fall to our expectation. If we have an expectation, like for example, my brother, he's the total opposite of me. And if I look at him like, oh my, like, oh, he's mean and cruel and angry, and I have these thoughts and this like certain level of expectation, I'm going to bring that out of him. I'm going to experience that from him. Now, if I make the decision and say, oh no, he's very kind and generous, then as wild as this sounds, just by me making the decision to look for that, um, I will find that, because what you seek, you shall find. And just like Dr. Wayne Dyer brilliantly stated, when you start to change the way that you look at things, the things you look at change. And
Yeah.
that's really been very paramount in my life.
Yes, it is. That is a powerful statement there. That is a very powerful statement. A lot of people should definitely take heed to that. I mean, because when you think about it, if let's say, like for example, you have in your case, you have a sibling and you perceive that sibling one way, but if you think it, like you said, the opposite of what you perceive them to be, then you may learn to understand something about them that you didn't understand before. All
Oh, I
you
love that.
change your perception.
Yeah, it's all about shifting your perception, shifting your expectation.
Mhm.
Um, Gosh, and you just said something. I had it on the tip of my tongue. I'm like, I can't. What was Oh man, but I couldn't agree more. And it's not only just in relationships, but it's really as every day of our life. What is it that we're expecting to experience? Because
Mhm.
I like to say every moment is a manifested miracle, and we are very vividly creating the reality that we're experiencing through our thoughts. If you want
Mhm.
a better life, you have to challenge yourself to
Yeah,
think better thoughts.
yeah.
And that's the hard part, because people are used to, we were all conditioned, and we're used to living a certain way and focusing on the same things, talking about the same things, having the similar conversations, surrounding ourselves with the same people. And when we do that, we're just creating more of the same. We can either
Yes.
choose to live from memories of the past and
Mhm.
create more of the same, or we can choose to live with a vision of the future, because so many people are trapped in this idea that I'm limited and defined by my past, and these are my current circumstances,
Mhm.
when that's not the case at all. We live in an abundant and expansive universe where the only limitations that that we have are the limitations that we place upon ourselves. And so that's why it's so important to just boldly, courageously dream big, dream audaciously big. And
Yes.
then you do the work, you raise your vibration, you spend the time each morning meditating, focusing on the good, writing out your gratitudes, doing the cold showers, really defining what discipline looks like in your life. And then
Yes.
when you do the reps, when you put in the work, it's
Hmm.
like doors of great opportunity will begin to open before you. And then you step into the receiving mode. And then that's when miracles really start to show up in brilliant ways.
I get this. That is so true. That is so true. I think about that all the time because I do um meditation, and I do my meditation in parts because like early in the morning before I get up, I meditate. Then that's my meditation for preparation for the entire day. And
Yeah.
then during my break, I'll do another meditation. And then before I go to bed, I'll meditate again. So I really love meditating. It really opens doors and windows that people don't realize that they have these opportunities internally that could
Yeah.
protrude externally only if you embrace it. If you don't embrace it, then of course you will not see the external workings that you're working so hard internally to build and structure about yourself.
Absolutely. It's like what we forget, what is so easy for us to forget is that everything that we will ever need is within us.
Mhm.
And we get so distracted with our phones, with the TV, with the news, by always looking for the solution to our problems externally and always searching for external happiness and things to make us momentarily happy. What's the next hit of dopamine? When it's just like when we decide to close our eyes and look within, whew, the divine connection that's waiting for us, the answers that are just readily available. It's incredible. You have to do the work. You just have to commit. And all it takes is just 10 to 15 minutes every single morning, and your life will start to just look completely different
Yeah,
after 30 days of meditation,
yeah,
guaranteed.
yes, it will. I totally agree with you on that. I'll never forget my first time learning about meditation or to start meditating. I was about 7 years old, and I had gotten into boxing, so I was learning to box. And my coach, he was like, "You're a pretty angry young man," and he say, "You got a compelling story to tell, I'm sure." He say, "But the first thing that we need to work on is finding out why you're so angry." And I talked to him, let him know the things that were going on in my life. And he said, "Oh my God." He said, "You definitely have a valid reason to be angry." He said, "But here's the thing. I need you to try some meditation techniques that'll kind of help you to go beyond what's going on in your life and help you to continue to move forward." And he sat me down. We
Yeah.
sat down in a room in his office, and we actually got a chance to do some exercises, different breathing exercises before we actually went into the meditation, and then finally got into the
Yeah.
meditation. And my deeper meditating moments was when I started to study martial arts. That really took me to a whole nother level. Definitely.
Oh my God. That is so cool to learn that you were blessed and guided enough at 7 years old to start a meditation practice. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, it wasn't, I don't think it was easy, but I'll say it was definitely beneficial. It was extremely
Oh, I
beneficial.
mean, if they started teaching meditation in school, I mean, how different would society look within a very short period of time? I mean,
I,
people would be the funny thing is that like we're all conditioned by our past, by our parents, by traumas that we've experienced, and we all fall into these low vibrational emotions, whether it's stress or worry or fear or lack, anger, guilt, whatever they may be, and we
Yeah.
take these emotions on, and then we live in them, and we might live in them for a day or two, or maybe a week or two, or maybe a couple months. But after so much time has passed, we begin to take those traits on as our own, and that begins to be what we identify with. And then that becomes our new identity, and we forget what feeling good feels like. We forget what peace of mind, what tranquility, what serenity, what like unconditional love and joy and passion and excitement and bliss and freedom and abundance, like all of these things, we don't we don't gift ourselves the 10 to 15 minutes each morning to really lean into that. And so that's why it's such a blessing that we all have access to. It's just a matter of doing the reps. And again, if they taught this in school, how different would our world look, right?
Oh my goodness, I think our world would be astounding right now. And just looking at some of the youth of today, and they haven't even done any meditation. Some of the youth of today have come along just extremely bright, extremely smart, intellectual. And I learn and receive energy from just watching them. And I love to see our youth today. And they're so um the word that I'm looking for. They're so genderfied. They are not trapped into this whole racism thing or any of that. They're just living life and being happy with the fact that they have someone that they can actually talk to that's the same age as them, but maybe on a different level in a different way. It's amazing to see that because I drive a school bus and I see this on a regular with probably more than 200 children per day.
Wow, that is incredible. It's really beautiful what a little how far a little bit of compassion goes.
Yes, oh my goodness. And I love the children. The children are always talking about how, hey, Mr. Yellow, can we do this or can we do that? Can I talk to you about this or can I talk to you about that? And I talk to them. I make sure that I talk to them. I make sure I take at least 1 or 2 minutes, if even if it's before I start driving or after I get them to their destination. I don't mind because I think that when they say it takes a village to raise a child, that village is all the people that these children come across every day, not just their parents, not just their siblings, not just their family members at all, but all the people that they come across every day. Take, for example, if a child comes across a homeless person, they're seeing this, they're getting something from that. If they come across another person that's well educated and they're talking to this person, they're getting something from that. It's just so many things that encompasses our lives, and meditation is one of the things that if you don't meditate, that's just how I feel. If you don't meditate, you really need to learn how to. You need to figure out one of the ways, because there's many ways to meditate. Figure out one of the ways that's going to work for you and embrace it.
What are some of your favorite meditations?
Well, for me, I like sound vibrations. So I actually meditate to sound vibrations. I'm currently at um, the frequency of 10,000 now. I sometimes when I get done meditating, my body actually starts to vibrate. I love it. I've actually experienced an out of body experience where I was actually standing outside looking at myself and looking at the people.
Wow.
So I am an avid meditator. I love meditation to the 1,000 power. I love it.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I could geek out and talk about all the different like that's what it I love it. I love it so much. It's profoundly impacted every area of my life. And it's funny because I'll always put a warning label on meditation. And I'm always like, meditator beware. And then people are like, wait, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And I'm like, well, you see, when you start meditating, what you're doing is you're quieting your mind and you're turning down the dial on that little voice in your head. And if we know that we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day on average,
Mhm.
and 90% of those thoughts are negative, if we can really turn that down and shut that off, we
Mhm.
will essentially be releasing all of the stress, all of the worry, all of the fear, all of the limiting beliefs,
Yeah.
everything that's weighing us down. We get
Yes.
to let go. And then you step into this high vibrational frequency of peace and love and joy. And it's beautiful. So what
Steady.
so what you're yeah. And so what you're doing when you're meditating is you're very intentionally raising your vibration
Mhm.
because, as we all know, we live in a vibrational universe
Yes, we
where
do.
all things move and all things vibrate, and we don't attract what we want. We can't just write a list out to Santa Claus and say, this is what we want. We don't attract what we want. We attract what we are. And so therefore, if we want more love, we have to be more loving. If
Yep.
we want more money, we have to embody the energy of abundance and we have to begin to become more generous. So,
Yeah.
whatever it is that we want more of, we have to learn to give more of. So, meditation is essentially raising your vibration. And
Mhm.
when you're raising your vibration, you're setting yourself up for success because
Yeah.
what that means is as you move through the rest of your day, everything that's vibrating at a lower frequency, whether it's a traffic jam or bad news or an angry customer or whatever or whatever your boss is having a bad day or whatever bad experience or low vibrational experience um, you might normally encounter. When you do the work and you meditate in the morning and you're raising your vibration, guess what? Those low vibrational people, places, things, experiences, they can't reach you. They can't touch you because you're not a vibrational match. And so that's the beauty of it. And so the warning label that I like to associate with that is when you are very intentionally raising your vibration, what happens is everything that everything that is negative or vibrating at a lower frequency in your life has to fall away.
Yes.
And that can be really, really scary for some people because that's what's familiar, that's what's known. And even sometimes whether we're in an abusive relationship or an unsatisfying job, or whatever the negative circumstance may be that we're holding on to and latching tight to, what happens is when we start meditating and intentionally raising our vibration, those lower vibrational things that are surrounding us, they must fall away. So what that means is you start meditating and all of a sudden it could feel like your world is crumbling around you.
Yes.
But the
Yes.
beauty is that when you are meditating, it's like you're tuning into you're really like tuning into that divine energy, that source energy. You are really leaning into unshakable faith and trusting God, surrendering, just being like, God, I trust you and I know that you've got my back. So even though it seems like everything's falling apart in my life, I know in my heart and I believe that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be right here, right now, and that life is happening for me, not to me. And whatever I'm going through, I have to learn, I'm going to grow, and I am going to overcome this. And on the
Yes.
other side, I'm going to become better, stronger, wiser in having experienced it. So even if you start meditating and things start to get a little shaky, just stay consistent, be positive, and know that this is all happening. It's all unfolding in divine timing.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness. I don't think I could have said that better. I totally agree with you. No doubt. No doubt. Oh my goodness. Which also brings me to another thing that I was reading on your profile. That's one of the most intriguing things to me is that you study quantum physics. Oh my goodness. Tell me, how does quantum physics fit into your meditation?
Oh, I mean, it's all correlated. It's all directly connected. So essentially, quantum physics just it simply states that we live in a vibrational universe and that is attraction-based universe.
Mhm.
And so there are laws of the universe, and that's what I love. I love teaching people how to leverage these laws to live intentionally, to intentionally create the life of their dreams. We're either default creators or we're deliberate creators. And 98% of the population is a default creator, which means they're watching and observing the outside circumstances around them that they have no control over,
Yeah,
allow that to rattle how they're feeling internally. So
yeah,
therefore, they're living from the outside in. And if you're constantly focused on your current reality or what you're experiencing, then you're really doing yourself a huge disservice. And so
yes,
that's what we like to call the Newtonian model of the world, which is cause and effect. So
yes,
what that means is when an event happens, an event triggers an emotion. So an emotion is the side effect of having already experienced that event,
yeah,
cause and effect. The
yes,
quantum model is essentially flipping that around and it's causing an effect.
yeah,
So it's feeling the emotion of whatever it is that you want to create or attract or experience into your life
hmm,
before you've attracted or experienced it. And then when you embody the emotion of it, it will come. So it's essentially living from the inside out. And to do that, you have to become extraordinarily aware of the thoughts that you're thinking, the words that you're speaking, the
yes,
emotions that you're feeling. And so that way you can carve and mold and very deliberately create the reality that you want to experience.
yes, indeed. Oh my goodness, you definitely said a mouthful. Oh my goodness. I I wanted you to break that down because there's a lot of people whom I talk to, and maybe the way that I say it, they don't really understand it, but then someone else can come along and pretty much say the same thing, but in a different way. And then people just like,
Yeah.
what goes off in their head, like, wow, Eureka, I got it, I understand it. So I
Yeah.
love that. I love that.
I feel the same way. I've been listening to when I before so when I was in my corporate job, I used to do these Excel spreadsheets, and I mean it was just hours and hours, and it turns out I was like an Excel spreadsheet whiz, right? Who would guess?
Yes.
And while I was doing these Excel spreadsheets, I had my earphones in and I would be listening to Dr. Wayne Dyer for hours and hours and hours. And I'd be taking notes the whole entire time, and it was just like I'm so grateful for all of his wisdom because that really played a fundamental part in shaping the just like the foundations of my belief system. And then through Dr. Wayne Dyer, I stumbled across Abraham Hicks, and then I really gravitated towards their teachings. And then I went to my first Abraham Hicks seminar when I was 22 years old, and that is the first time I started meditating. That's what kicked off my meditation career journey. Um, and
Awesome.
so I'm very grateful for having like lived and experienced that at a young age, so that way I could implement those tools.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Forgive me for constantly wiping. It is 90 degrees where I am. This is like crazy hot.
It's hot in Texas.
My goodness. When they say it gets hot in Texas, they are not lying about that. I am not
Oh my
used
God, that's so, and I just put a sweater on right before this started because I was like, oh, I'm a little
to
bit chilly.
Go ahead, send me some of the air. I need some.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It
I
is,
like I like talking about the laws of the universe, kind of like it's kind of like gravity, right?
yes, yes,
So whether we want to admit or acknowledge that gravity exists, I know that if I pick this pen up and I drop it,
yes,
every single time it's going to fall. And
yes,
so the law of attraction and the laws of the universe, they work in the same manner. Whether we want to acknowledge their existence or not is up to us, because we're constantly like we're in this game called life,
yes,
and there are certain rules that you can that you can understand and leverage on your behalf. And
Hmm.
so when you start to really develop a keen, like once you start to study these laws and
Yes.
understand how to implement them correctly, you start experiencing profound changes in your life.
So, my goodness, yes, you do. And one of the things that I like to talk about too, along with, is the theory of magnetism, because a lot of people don't understand how powerful the theory of magnetism is. And it's like sometimes when I'm telling people about how the laws of attraction and the law and the theory of magnetism almost kind of play a similar role, they look at me,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that? I mean, because think about it, when you're attracted to someone, what do? You're kind of drawn to that person. The theory of magnetism,
Yeah.
basically the same thing. They come together. Those are um, two elements that actually come together, and they look at me and say, "Oh, I never thought about that." I say, "Yeah, I think about these things all the time because when you're looking at all the different um, elements, when you're looking at the laws of attraction, when you're looking at all these different things that a lot of people are, they're kind of familiar with them. They just don't know how to put a name on it.
Yeah.
You know what
Or
I
they
mean?
don't realize, like, so many people are just like living unconsciously. To live with intention is a very, very powerful thing to do. And
Yes.
so that's what I like to teach my clients about. We have a 16-week program that allows people to very intentionally rewire their subconscious mind and transform their identity so they can start taking action towards their goals and start experiencing real results. Um, and it's just like desire and belief, or I'm sorry, desire and vision is the second pillar. The first pillar is energy and state, because understanding that energy is your highest form of currency, and understanding how to control your state, and that when you're able to control your state, you control your inner world, then you begin to control your outer world. And
Yeah.
then the second pillar is going to be the desire aspect and the vision aspect. And it's just like so many of us, to your point, we get distracted by the negativity. And like my favorite question to ask people is, if you could live life and experience life any way, if resources, if you had unlimited resources and money was of no object, what would your life look like? And then 9 out of 10 people usually respond pretty quickly with all the things that they don't want. And it's
Oh,
like we're trained and we're conditioned to focus on the negative and focus on what we don't want. And it's just like we fall into these patterns and these conditions, patterns of focus. It's like what you focus on is what you feel. Even if what
right.
you're focusing on isn't even real, even if you're like making it up, what you're
Yes.
focusing on, you're feeling. And so, therefore, it's becoming aware to very consciously choose, okay, what it is that I want to focus on, what it is that I want to experience and create in my life. And so we go through a whole vision extraction process where we go through 5 areas of your life: health and wellness, relationships, finances, fun and lifestyle, as well as spirituality. And once you get crystal clear on all of these different areas, what are your shortcomings? Where can we improve? What habits are currently holding you back? Then we write out your vision. And then the beauty in having a written vision means that you can read it every day or even every week. And
Mhm.
what that does is you're beginning to embed that into your subconscious mind. You're embedding that into your reticular activating system, your RAS. And so, to give you an example, it's kind of like if I asked you how many red cars did you see on the drive home today, you'd be like, I don't know. But tomorrow, if I ask you again, oh, how many cars do you see? You'll be like, oh, I saw 26. Counted every single one. So why? Because you were aware, you were looking for it. It was in your reticular activating system. So same thing, if we're looking for reasons to be offended, if we're looking for reasons to really fulfill the need to feel the same way that we've always felt,
Mhm.
because we tend as human beings to lean into what is known, what is
Yeah.
familiar. We stay inside of our
Yes.
comfort zone. And
Yes.
just because we call it a comfort zone doesn't mean that it's necessarily comfortable. People get
Exactly.
really comfortable with a whole lot of suffering. They get comfortable with a lot of pain. They
Yes.
get comfortable with a lot of poverty, because they're too afraid to step out in faith. And so
Yes.
that's why I love challenging people's beliefs and their paradigms, and really helping people get crystal clear with what it is that they want. So that way, when they're reading it every single week, what happens is they're embedding those mental images into their subconscious mind. They're activating their RAS, and then all of
Yes.
a sudden they're able to step into the receiving mode. They're able to see opportunities that may have been there the whole time, but they just
Yes.
weren't aware of them because they
Yes.
weren't consciously looking for them.
Yes.
So it's really important to focus on what you want and not what you don't want.
Yes. They need to learn to channel their receptors because without the receptors, you're not able to receive
Yeah,
what's deserving of you in the first place. So you have to channel them. You have to sharpen your tools. You have to be ready at all
yeah,
times. And if you're not ready, get ready. Figure it out. You gotta do these things in order to have a better life and a better lifestyle. Because
yeah,
where you take yourself is where you take your body. Because when I say take yourself, that's internal. Now, where you take the body, that's external. But you have to, at some point, just like you said, you have to think outside of what your norm is and then start to go in that direction of what's outside of your norm in order to see the changes. You can't get around
absolutely.
100 people that are exactly the same, on the same level, on the same plane, and expect to grow. One of those people
Yeah,
is step outside of the box. And when that one person does, then a lot of times some other people will follow, but not everyone.
right. I mean, we are where we are today based on every thought, every action, every decision that we've made up until this point. So therefore, if we want different results, if we want improved health, better communication in our relationships, if we want more money in the bank, we're going to really have to take inventory of the thoughts that we're thinking, the words that we're speaking, just the
Yes,
habits that we're living, because
yes.
we're essentially going to have to become a totally different person.
Mhm.
You are where you are today based on everything you've done up until this point. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So therefore, like the definition of progress is we have to very intentionally start to change what we do. We know that a want has been converted into a desire and planted in the subconscious mind once our behavior changes. Because wanting is easy. Everybody can want this and want that. Wants are easy. Wants don't require any work. A
Yeah,
desire, however, requires commitment. It
yes,
requires discipline. It requires
yes.
you to show up. And so desires reside in the subconscious mind. So that's why it's so important to do the work, because it's repetition is what is going to reprogram your subconscious mind. And so the tools and techniques that I love teaching clients, is exactly how to do that and how to experience more bliss, more joy, more fulfillment,
Yes,
and essentially collapse timelines. So many
yes,
reach your goals faster. And it's wild when you sit back and think about it, but it's like so many of us have a depth of perception. We drastically overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 5 years. And so the goal, like the big goal that we have, always seems so far away. And because it always seems so far away, we're not taking the action, like the necessary action today to
mhm,
make that goal a reality. And it's like, if you want to be a millionaire, you have to surround yourself with millionaires. You have to start talking, thinking, acting like a millionaire. Because if you don't, you're not going to get there.
no,
So
no.
that's why
So,
you have to become a totally different person and transform your identity. And then it's like death of the
exactly,
ego, right? How long
exactly.
have you been you? It's scary.
You've been me for a while. But
Yeah, and it
here.
served you really well at a very high level. So to let go of everything that you know, it's super scary. And I forgot who wrote it, but I was just reading in the book, The Power of Awareness. It was that you need to act like the moth to the flame for your
Yes.
desires. And you have to just give yourself away, burn, like let go of the old version of yourself and boldly step into the next version. And because it's like all about your self concept, you will never out succeed your current self concept. The image that you hold of yourself, that's your identity, you will
Yeah.
never outperform that. And
Uh,
so until you start changing the way that you think and start looking at your life and yourself differently,
mhm.
you're going to stay stuck.
Yes, indeed, stagnant, and that hurts. Stagnation hurts. Oh my goodness. Who in the world wants to be stuck in the same depressing way of life for the rest of your life? Nobody that I know.
We're
So,
here to grow. We're here to
yes,
expand and evolve. So
exactly. So, Miss Lucie, tell me something. Who are you today versus who you were before you learned all of these things?
good question. I would say that it's been a journey. It's there have definitely been what do you want to call it? Big points in my life that were like catastrophic jumping points. For example, creating the Craigslist ad when I was 16, that essentially allowed me to step into entrepreneurship for the first time because I met a horse dealer who would get in 50 horses a week and I had to ride and sell all of them fast, quick, cheap because if I didn't sell it fast enough, it was getting shipped to Canada to the slaughterhouses. So at 16 years old, here I am on a mission to save all the horses of the world. So that was like my first taste of entrepreneurship, right? The sky's the limit. How many horses do you want to ride today? You want to ride three, five, 15? Like, let's go. We got all day. And depending on how much work I put in, that's what I got out. So that was a pivotal moment. And then I would say 18 years old, I saw the movie The Secret, and that was like mind blowing. I'm like, whoa. So you're saying that all I have to do is like think a thought and believe it and emotionalize the feelings of it. And I
Yeah.
can create it in my life. Like, how exciting, how empowering. So I really ran with that. And then Dr. Wayne Dyer, Abraham Hicks, and meditation came into play. And so it's really been like essentially building blocks each step of the way. And then it was a huge step. Like when I quit my corporate job, oh my gosh, that was one of the scariest things I've ever done. Full benefits, salary, paid
Yeah.
vacation, cozy, comfy corporate office. Oh my God, my dad was so mad at me. He's like, people have worked their whole lives to have what you have, and you're just gonna throw it all away. And I'm like, Dad, like I'm meant for more. I know I can do this.
Oh my
And so like
goodness.
that was it was a huge leap of faith. And again, we're all one decision away from a completely different life had I never decided to take a chance on myself. And then from there, after I quit my corporate job, then it was like branching off and selling my own horses. And then it was opening high vibe trail rides. And now I'm on a journey to, and then essentially I've been using all of these teachings, all of these, strategies that I've picked up over the years to very intentionally create and sculpt the life of my dreams. And like, I'm so excited about sharing the laws of the universe and quantum physics and how to very intentionally create the life of your dreams that now I'm just obsessed with teaching people this. And it's like, how can I serve? How can I give back? How can I positively impact and inspire people around the world? So
Yeah.
now I'm on a mission and like this is my fifth podcast today, and it's almost 10 o'clock at night, but I'm excited and fired up to be sharing all of this with you and your listeners.
Yes.
So I mean it's a journey and we never stop learning and we never stop growing, but that's the best thing that you can do is just continue to invest in yourself and your education.
Yes, indeed. That is so true. That is so true. And a lot of people may not see it now, but if you just keep going and never allowing yourself to give up, you'll be surprised at what levels of this whole thing um the quantum realms, the laws, the cosmos, the meditation, the different vibrations, frequencies, the tones. It's so many things that if people were to ever just get involved in it and keep going, you have no idea until you start where this can take you. This is something
Yeah.
that your life should have basically started with, but seeing as though it
It's
did, ever too
and the
late.
cool thing is, yeah, I was gonna say that it's never too late. And like, and the other thing is like looking back at our past, like we are where we are today based on like the hardships that we've experienced and the obstacles that we've had to overcome. And so because of those things, I mean, like I could look back and regret like, oh my God, why did I stay in that abusive relationship for so long? And I
Yes.
could like play that game of like, wow, I was so dumb. Why did I do that? I wasted how many years of my life? But at the end of the day, like when I like think back on it, it's like I learned so much and I grew so much and there was so many lessons to be that and now I know not to make those mistakes, and now I can relate to people who have went through those things, and I can teach them from my mistakes. So it's kind of like I love Ed Milet when he talks about how his dad was an alcoholic, and it's incredible because his dad was an alcoholic and who got clean, and because his dad got clean, it inspired Ed Milet to go on, and now he speaks in front of millions of people all over the world, inspiring them to become the best versions of themselves. But on one of his podcasts that he released, he's like, he woke up in the middle of the night and he's like, oh my God, he's like, the man that helped my dad get sober was an alcoholic. What qualified him was the fact that he used to be a belligerent drunk. Had like, so sometimes it's like the things that we're least proud of, the things that we think make us unworthy or unqualified or not good enough are exactly the things that allow us to help and inspire others that are in similar or even worse positions.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Like I can actually relate to having an alcoholic parent and abusive parents, but I can also see how other people are pushed back or just allowing themselves to be down over the situation. I refuse to allow myself to be that way over that situation because I know that I'm better than that. I'm always going to be better than that. And I know that the power of meditation, the power of the subliminal mind, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like it. And to just get involved
Yeah.
and to see yourself, you can see your own growth. This is one opportunity that if you ever want to see yourself grow, just start it. Just start meditating, start getting into it, and you'll be surprised at what you see from yourself. And you can reward yourself with just a simple thank you, you know, because you're thanking yourself, you're thanking the elements, you're thanking the cosmos, you're thanking all of the laws of of physics, you're thanking all of the different um laws of attraction and theories of magnetism, you're thanking everything that was always there for you, but you just didn't.
Yeah.
That's it. We just didn't
It's
realize
like
it.
when you pour out gratitude, God listens and he gives you more things to be grateful for. And that's the beauty of gratitude.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Everybody finds their serenity, even in different forms of spirituality, through religion. Everybody find it, but the goal is to just get there. That's the goal. Get.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I couldn't agree more.
So don't debunk someone else's religious beliefs because the words in that religion were the words that finally got them to that level of serenity. The words,
Yeah.
the the teachings, the different things that are involved in different religions are what help get a lot of people to the levels that they need to get to. It's not always about because something is different. It's just different in its name, but
Oh yeah, it's kind of like, what do you call
it's
water? You
exactly.
call water water, agua, H2O,
Exactly.
aquafina.
Yes.
And so it's like, you want to call God, what do you want to call him? God, universe, infinite intelligence, deity,
Allah.
Buddha, like,
Yeah.
right, exactly. It's all about just really like having faith that God or the universe has your back, and that really embracing unshakable faith,
Mhm.
knowing that you can't fail. You can always try again, and
Yes.
on the other side of failure is success, is, I mean, is just growth, is expansion, is your destiny.
Yes, indeed. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. There's nothing like it. And you can never feel better than what you feel right now until you see a new level of growth. Then you will realize, darn, I can start feeling better and better each time. Oh my goodness. Let me keep doing this.
Oh my God, yes, totally. That's why for me, just like you, meditation is my non-negotiable every single morning. As soon as I wake up, as soon as my eyes open, boom, I immediately go right into meditation, for that same reason. It feels so good.
Yes.
And it's a gift. You're truly blessing yourself with 10 to 15 minutes of high vibrational energy. That really, like, you just have to practice it.
Yeah.
And when you're practicing it, then you'll start to see just shifts being made, and miracles unfolding before you. And
Mm.
then you can thank us later.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because those visions that you see during meditation, they are real. You just have to embrace it. We have to embrace it. So, Miss Lucie, this has been a wonderful journey. So much fun. We learned so much and we've heard so much from you. I love it. I love it. Please give
Thanks.
us something motivational that our people can use.
Yeah, absolutely. What I am just inspired to share with everybody is that each moment is a manifested miracle, and you are the powerful, miraculous creator of your own reality. So as soon as you get a handle of the thoughts that you're thinking and the emotions that you're feeling, you can be, do, have anything you want to create. It's belief that bridges the gap between where you're at and where you want to be. As
Yeah.
long as you believe that you're worthy and that you're capable, whew, mountains will move and doors will open. But it's all stepping into belief in yourself and faith in higher power. And the only limitations that you have are the limitations that you place upon yourself. So go out, use your imagination in extraordinary ways. Um, just keep it positive, and life's just going to get better each day.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Please, please take note of this. Please take note of this. That right there is things that I've been saying for a long time. You just said it in a few different words different, but you said it in a different way.
Yeah. That's what
Oh,
we're all here for, to support each other.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. My sister from another mother. So tell us, where can we actually reach
Yeah, so we have a 16-week course. It's a program that is going to rewire your subconscious mind, transform your identity, and allow you to start taking massive action towards your goals. And what we've done is we've condensed this down into a very digestible 6-part series. That's about 2 hours long, and it's on our website. It normally sells for $1,000. But we actually have a special promo code for you guys. So, very special for all of your listeners. If you go to ultimatesuccessblueprint.com, that's the website, ultimatesuccessblueprint.com, and then type in promo code YTP, you will actually be able to access and download this training at absolutely no cost. It's free training for your listeners. And it's just rich with different techniques and strategies for people to really take back control of their lives and start implementing these tools today so that way they can start experiencing the benefits tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness. And if you haven't paid attention to this podcast or listened to this podcast today, please stay tuned. I will be posting this podcast so that everyone who's missed it can actually check it out on my YouTube channel. You can also check it out on Spotify because those are my two places where I post my podcast. I'll have different little reels on my other social media site that'll lead you to another site in case if you don't have one social media platform or another. But by all means, please check out Miss Lucie. Check out the offer that she's offering you because I really believe in my heart of hearts that this is something that we all can benefit from. Thank you so much, Miss Lucie. You are definitely
Thank you.
awesome. I really enjoyed this today. This is, oh my goodness, this literally giving me chills. And chills.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for having me on. Oh, I had so much fun and it was a beautiful conversation. Thank you.
Yes, dude, this is amazing. And you have definitely opened the eyes of our people and taught them some things that they really needed to know. I really feel like our people are going to get a lot from you once they do take advantage of this offer. Please, and if anything else, pass the word. Please pass the word. If nothing else, pass the word. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining YTP Entertainment. Thank you for being a guest. You are definitely awesome, Miss Lucie. And everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day.